Good morning, good morning, good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, and welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's Shabbat. Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So happy and excited to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you today to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural, normal, and necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you reveal it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout good morning, because morning is a good thing. So grateful and thankful for each and every one of you that are here with us on today, and thankful for the opportunity to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 270. 270. We're going to talk about, I want to make the most of the rest of my life. I want to make the most of the rest of my life. This death has really made it clear to me that life is short. This death has really made it clear to me that life is short. One thing that death brings about is awareness. Death brings about an awareness of life, the brevity of life, how short life is, how valuable life is. It really makes you hone in and understand the fact that life is short, right? The person who died may not have been given all the time and opportunity they needed to do what they wanted to do. When we start looking at the different, and I know different people die at different ages, right? There are some people may have died well into their 90s. Some people, or even in their hundreds, right? Some people have died young, be it 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, never having the opportunity to touch double digits, or never having the opportunity to graduate from high school, or to get married or go to college, and all of these different things. Or even if you're in a relationship, never having the opportunity to experience multiple years together. Didn't make it to your first anniversary, didn't make it to your fifth or your 10th or your 20th or whatever the case may be. But we begin to understand that the person that died, maybe they wasn't given all the time and the opportunity they needed to do what they needed to do. And because of that, watch this, a lot of times you got to mourn what you had in mind. That we mourn not, we mourn what we had in mind. We had in mind that we would see a couple of forevers. We had in mind that, that they would their seventh birthday cake, and they died at 6. We had in mind that, we would get to see them graduate, and we could see them off the prom, and we would get to see them in these different areas. And if they transition before that, a lot of times you got to navigate mourning what you had in mind, right? It's not just the person that you lost, but it's also mourning the opportunities that you didn't get as well. So that's a process you got to go through too as well. That's part of that grieving process, right? So you mourn what you had in mind. You mourn the fact that they didn't get the opportunities, perhaps, to do everything that they wanted to do. But check this out, y'all. I'm gonna shift the focus because this is what you got to understand. But here I am. I'm still here, right? When I tell you that grief brings about an awareness, it brings about such an awareness that we understand that this person has died in transition, but we also understand that we're still here, right? Here I am. We're still here. Don't miss this. And I get to choose how I look at the remainder of my days, no matter how many there might be. You get to choose how you look at the remainder of your days, no matter how many there may be, right? You get the opportunity to look at how you get to choose the remainder of your day. The awareness of their death should make you aware of your life, right? The awareness of their death should make you more aware of your life, right? And a lot of people, I see this a lot of times, a lot of people, they bump it up. They start living their life a little more fuller after somebody dies because they have this awareness. They have this awareness of death, this awareness of the brevity of life, and they start to become more intentional about how they live out the rest of their days. I want you to be more intentional about your life. Navigate through the grieving process, go through the grieving process, yet don't allow it to rob you. Don't allow their death to rob you of your life, right? Some of us we get inside rooms and houses and we close ourselves up and we don't even have the desire to live anymore. We don't understand that although their book has concluded, there are still more chapters to be written in the book of our life, right? And you get to choose how this story is going to go. You get to author your story. You author your story with the pen of your decisions. You author your story with the pen of your decisions. And I know you're going through grief, but you can decide to either lay down and spend the rest of your years in mourning, right? Or you can decide that I am going to live my life to the fullest. And the rest of my life is going to be the best of my life. And with the chapters that I have left, I'm going to write an amazing story. I'm going to heal, right? And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to mourn and I'm going to keep moving, right? Because there are still more chapters to be written in the book of my life. Here it is. I choose to make the most of the rest of my life. During my time of grief, that means actively embracing in grief, embracing my grief and mourning in doses, right? We talk about that. I'm going to mourn and move on. I'm going to actively mourn. That's navigating through the process, not just grieve, but I'm going to mourn. I'm not just going to grieve. I'm not just going to feel, but I'm going to mourn. I'm going to reveal so I can heal. So I'm going to actively mourn, embrace my grief and mourning in doses. It also means strengthening connections with others I care about and working on rebuilding my self identity in the ways I find most meaningful. I'm going to actively mourn. I'm going to strengthen that which remains, right? So many times we focus on that in which we've lost that we don't focus on that which what remains. You got to strengthen what remains. You have to strengthen that which remains. Who is remaining? Who is still here? What is still here? Strengthen that which remains. I'm going to actively mourn. I'm going to strengthen the connections that I know I lost my father, but I can strengthen the connection with my mother. I'm going to mourn losing my father, but I want to strengthen the connection with my mother. I know I lost a child, right? But I'm going to strengthen the connection that I have with my children, right? So we actively mourn, we strengthen what remains, the connections that we have, that we care about. We work on rebuilding our self identity. Work on rebuilding our self identity. You are not the same person. This has this has changed you. It's going to change you, right? Things will never be the same, and it's okay. We work on rebuilding who we are, why we are, what we are, right? And the ways that you find most meaningful. Here's the final thought, y'all. Here I am. I might as well make the most of it. Here I am. I might as well make the most of it. I know you lost somebody, but here you are. You might as well make the most of it. I know it was painful, but here you are. You might as well go through the pain, process it, and proceed because you still got purpose. Here you are, right? You have to make the most of it. Today is day 270. I want to make the most of the rest of my life. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. I hope this lesson was a blessing on today. Continue to make the most of your life. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. Understand there's still more chapters. God is still authoring your story. And you still have a wonderful, wonderful book ahead. It's going to be a great novel, a bestseller. Come on, live your life on purpose and with purpose and let God do all that he desires to do in the midst of your life. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. We out. Let's go.